Welcome to the Agile Shop, where we talk shop about hands-on Agile solutions. In this video, we will answer what is Scrum. Scrum is an Agile framework for developing innovative products and services by using an incremental and iterative approach. It is not a standardized process where you methodically follow a series of sequential steps, but rather a framework for organizing and managing work based on a set of values. Scrum is built on transparency, inspection, and adaptation. The Scrum team is composed of a small team of people. Within that team, we have a product owner, a Scrum Master, and a development team. The team is self-managing with no sub-teams or hierarchies. The product owner is one team member that represents the voice of the customer. The product owner is responsible for maximizing the value of the product. They own the product backlog, which is a list of what is needed to build or to improve the product. The product owner is constantly prioritizing and keeping the items up to date into the product backlog. The Scrum Master is a leader who serves the Scrum team. They are responsible for making sure the team executes using the Scrum framework. They provide any coaching or help with the Scrum theory and practice. They help the team stay focused on the goal and the active work. They remove any impediments the team might have that stands in their way in achieving that goal. They also capture the team metrics and ensure that all Scrum events take place in a time box. The development team are the people that are building the product. In the world of digital products, the development team could be composed of designers, software developers, data engineers, quality assurance engineers, and anyone else that's needed to build a digital product. The team should have all the skills necessary to create value each sprint. These roles covered have a lot more responsibilities and duties that were covered in this short video. If you want to learn more, please subscribe to our channel. Let's talk about the Scrum Workflow. Each digital product starts with a vision and ultimately is transformed into a set of features and user stories that live in a product backlog. The Scrum Workflow starts with a product backlog, which usually has more work than the team can handle in one iteration, which is why the product backlog is prioritized by the product owner with what is the most important to the customer and the stakeholders. The items are refined with the development team and prepared for the sprint. During the sprint planning, the product owner and development team agree on a sprint goal that defines what the upcoming sprint is supposed to achieve. Using this goal, the development team reviews the product backlog and determines the high priority items that the team can realistically accomplish in that upcoming sprint. The user stories that are refined and brought into a sprint planning create what is called the sprint backlog. This will be the focus for the development team during the active sprint. Most teams work within sprints of 2 weeks to a month in duration. Once the sprint starts, each day of the sprint, ideally at the same time, the Scrum team holds a 15-minute time-box Scrum event called the Daily Scrum. The purpose of the Daily Scrum is to inspect progress towards the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as necessary, adjusting the upcoming planned work. At the end of the sprint, the Scrum team and the stakeholders review what was accomplished in the sprint during a Scrum event called the Sprint Review. The goal of this activity is to inspect and adapt the product that is being built and make any necessary changes to the product backlog. A successful sprint review results in bidirectional information flow between the Scrum team and the stakeholders. The stakeholders, they get to learn more about the development effort, and the Scrum team learns more about the business and the product vision. The last Scrum event at the end of the sprint is the Sprint Retrospective. This is a session where the internal Scrum team inspects how the last sprint went with regards to the individuals, the interactions, the processes, tools, and their definition of done. The purpose of the Sprint Retrospective is to plan ways to increase quality and effectiveness. This session is usually facilitated by the Scrum Master. Once the retrospective ends, the entire process repeats. If you want to learn additional details on the Scrum events, the Scrum roles, or any facilitation techniques, subscribe to our channel for additional videos.